starting our section on learning how to multiply matrices together. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in real quick on problems 1, 3, and 5. Now, what do you guys think 2 by 5 represents?
2.
2 by 5. What is that? What do you think it's talking about? Yes, exactly. So we have a matrix A, all right? It is 2 rows by 5 columns. So we've got a lot of columns there, okay? But what does this 5 represent? That represents the rows. That's columns. Now, what do we remember from operations? Whenever you can add or subtract a matrix, what do they have to be? They have to be the exact same dimensions. Okay? Multiplying is different. They don't have to be the exact same. Okay? What they have to have that are perfectly equal to each other is this number of columns. Alright? Which is a 5. And this number of rows, which is also 5, these right here have to be the same. So before you even start a problem, you have to make sure that the columns of matrix A match the rows of matrix B. Because when you're multiplying matrices, you actually multiply the rows times the columns. So these columns have to match these amount of rows. Now, since they match, our final result, everybody, our final result of A, if I said, what is matrix A times matrix B, you would get a resulting matrix of a 2 by 1. Not L, 1. This would be the dimensions of your product. Okay? So because these match right here, you're allowed to multiply. Which means if we did whatever the numbers were in A and whatever the numbers were in B, the resulting product would be a 2 by 1.
It's not like you're eliminating. Okay, this one goes up. I got to listen to be a little confusing.
All right, we'll see if you get it. Now check this next one. Number 3. How many rows? Sorry, how many columns right here? We have 2 columns. We have 3 rows. These do not match. Since they match, it would be impossible for you to be able to multiply these together. That's it. If they don't match, you stop. You say, you know what? I'm not moving any. I don't have to do it. By the way, I've had a lot of students multiplying matrices together, and they look at me like, Mr. Mood, I'm stuck. I can't do this one. And I look at them and I say, you're right. You can't. Like, but I'm really working hard. I know. You just can't do it. Well, why not? Because these numbers don't match. So stop working so much. All right. However, look down here. We've got 3 columns and 3 rows. These match. So therefore, I can actually multiply these matrices together. And what's my final result going to be? It's going to be a 3 by 4. So for answer number 5 on your paper, just put, yes, you can multiply these together, Mr. Namood, and they're going to be a 3 by 4. Up here, for problem number 1, you can say, yes, you can multiply them together, you're going to get a 2 by 1. And for number 3, you're going to say, no. Which means you can't. All right, so far so good. You guys see the pattern there? What do we always look for? We look for the number of columns and this number of rows and see if they match. If they match, then we go to the next step, which is look at the outer numbers. Now that you've done that, we are going to do all the odd problems together and go and put them in your journal. By the way, it says find each product if what? If possible. So we're going to go do number 7 in your journal. All right, so let's say this is matrix A and this is matrix B, and we wanted to multiply matrix A times matrix B. Now, first thing we got to do is we got to look at the dimensions. What are the dimensions of matrix A? How many rows by how many columns?
1 by 2.
It is a 1 by 2. There is 1 row and there are 2 columns. Ooh, that is a 2 by 1. Now, the first thing we look is, do these numbers match And they do. So therefore, I know that you can multiply matrix A times matrix B. What will our final product be? What would be the dimensions?
3 by 1.
No, 1 by 1. Which means you're going to have one letter. All right, a 1 by 1 is a 1 row by 1 column. You're going to have one number that fits right in there. Okay. Now we're going to show you how to multiply. You're going to take this matrix right here, the first matrix, which is 1 row. I'm going to highlight just the row. Over here,
Yes.
I'm going to highlight the column. So the first matrix, I'm going to highlight the row. The second matrix, I'm going to highlight the column. And this is the pattern of how you multiply matrices. You're going to take the first number in the first row, which is a 3. And you're going to multiply it to the first number that's in the first column, which is a 2. And you're going to add the second number in the first row times the second number in the first column. Now we're going to go over this pattern real quick.
First comes first.
All right? We took the first times the first, and we added the second times the second.
Oh.
See the pattern there?
Okay.
First times first plus second times second.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Now, 3 times 2, 6. 2 times 1, 2, 2. 6 plus 2, 8. And that's your final answer.
Awesome.
Start out with something smaller. All right. We'll get bigger, but right now we want to focus on the pattern.
Gotta focus on getting right.
All right. Now we're going to go down to number 9. Okay. What are the dimensions? Let's say I call this matrix A and I call this matrix B, and I want to see if I can multiply them together. What are the dimensions of this matrix? 2 by 2. That's a square matrix, right? Same rows, same columns. This right here, how many rows do we have? We have 2 rows, right? And we have 1 column, which means these numbers match. So, what's our final result going to be for A times B? What's it going to equal? It's going to be a 2 by 1. Now, what does a 2 by 1 look like? Well, it looks like this. Looks exact. This is a 2 by 1. So you're going to get an answer here, a number here, and a number here. You always want to know what it looks like before you start the problem, because matrices, understand, you're going to get certain dimensions for your answer. So you want to kind of know what it looks like before you get there. You want to know what your destination is going to be. Now I'm going to highlight 1, 3 in blue. I'm going to highlight -1, 1 in red. Notice I highlighted the whole row. And this one I'm actually going to be highlighting the whole column in green. So hopefully you guys, as we're doing this, you can kind of see the pattern of how to multiply. So here we go. We're going to start our process. We're going to start with the first number 1. And we're going to multiply that first number with this first number, 3. Then you're going to say plus. Now what are we going to move over to? We've done the 1, now we're going to move over to the 3. So we're going to take 3. We're going to multiply it to -2. Very good. So we'll review it real quick. Ready? First number times first number. There's the 1 times 3. Plus second number times second number. There's the 3 times the -2. By the way, you are done with the first row. That's as far as you can go with the first row. Now I'm going to drop down to the second row. What number am I starting with in the second row? -1. So put a -1. What's -1 going to be multiplied to? 3. The 3. Plus. Now that we've done -1, we're going to move to the right. We're going to have the +1. And +1 is going to be multiplied to the -2. Now, write this down. I'm going to pause real quick. Write this down. We're going to look for a pattern. Now, numbers that are going to be in my column. So when I look back at my work, I can realize, hey, where did I get the 3 and the negative 2? I got the 3 and the negative 2 from the column. Where did I get the 1 and the 3? I got the 1 and the 3 from the row. Where did I get the negative 1 and the 1? I got it from the row. So while I'm building it, this is just what I do. You don't have to do this. But I'm saying, whenever I have these products, I always put the columns in parentheses. You guys notice how these are the exact same numbers? That's how it's always going to work. These are the same. What changes? The numbers that are in the row. But would you agree the numbers that are in the row, right here, the 1 and the 3, are directly over the negative 1 and the 1. So we've got the 1 and the 3, we've got the negative 1 and the 1. So look for that pattern as we're doing it. Once you start seeing the pattern, it makes it a lot easier. All right, so let's go ahead and solve this real quick. We've got 1 times 3, which is 3, plus 3 times negative 2, which is a negative 6. What's 3 plus a negative 6?
3. Negative 3.
Negative 3. All right, here we've got a negative 1 times a 3, which is negative 3, plus 1 times negative 2, which is negative 2. Add those together, you get negative 5. And that's your answer. And notice, it's a what? It's a 2 row by 1 column. All right, number 11, at matrix A, we have matrix B. The dimensions of this are a 1 by 2. The dimensions of matrix B are a 2 by 2. These match. Therefore, our final product will have the dimensions of a 1 by 2. And what does a 1 by 2 look like? It actually looks like this one right here. Yeah, so we're going to have a number here and a number here. That's what it's going to look like. So once again, I'm going to highlight this row in one color. I'm going to highlight this column in one color. I'm going to highlight this column in one color. Now, if you don't have colors and you can't highlight, you can always group them together with circles or like ovals, right? You can group them like that if you want to. Okay, so we're going to start this problem. Where are we going to start? We're going to start with the negative 3. Put negative 3 times 0. First number times first number plus second number times the second number in the column. Here we go. First times first plus second times second. And that's going to be, by the way, that right there, everybody, this will be what A is going to equal. Now we're going to move over a little bit to the right. We're going to start with negative 3 once again, but this time we're taking the negative 3 and we're multiplying it to the negative 1 plus 4 times 2. So here we go. Let's check this next one out. We took the negative 3, we multiplied it to the negative 1 right here. And then we took the 4, multiplied it to the 2, put it right there. By the way, what do you see is the same all the way across the board this time? The negative 3 and the 4. The negative 3 and the 4. What numbers have changed? The numbers that are in the columns have changed. Before we go back, what stayed the same right here? The numbers that were in the
Rows.
well, the columns right here.
Or columns on it.
All right, so let's go ahead and finish this out. We have negative 3 times 0. That's 0. 4 times 2 is 8. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. And our final answer is simply an 8 and an 11. That's our final answer. The last one that the last couple we're gonna do will be a little bit, well, the last one will be the hardest one. But that'll be in the next video.